King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke. Now, to be honest, I'm totally with Prince William on this. I'm sorry, I'm just putting that out there right from the start. What Harry and Meghan did by openly speaking out against Trump was disgusting, was despicable, went against all diplomatic norms, and also is hugely disrespectful for Harry, given he is in America. I would argue at the invitation of Trump, who could boot the asshole out because he lied on his immigration forms, I believe, because I do not believe he would have been allowed in if he admitted to all of the illegal drug use in Spare. But let me take you through this story. Here's Harry's statement. It came after Trump made those comments, which were misinterpreted, about European troops, which he later rolled back. And Harry wrote, in 2001, NATO invoked Article 5 for the first and only time in history. It meant that every allied nation was obliged to stand with the United States in Afghanistan in pursuit of our shared security. Allies answered that call. I served there. I made lifelong friends there, and I lost friends there. The United Kingdom alone had 457 service personnel killed. Thousands of lives were changed forever. Mothers and fathers buried sons and daughters. Children were left without a parent. Families are left carrying the cost. Those sacrifices deserve to be spoken about truthfully and with respect, as we all remain united and loyal to the defence of diplomacy and peace. Well, as the Royal News Network posted, having read that, Prince Harry has no business making any sort of statements on NATO and by extension criticising President Donald Trump. This sort of brazenness again belies the reason why all his titles and place in the line of succession should be removed. Yes, it should. If he can't contain himself and potentially undermines whatever diplomacy is going on behind the scenes, it's a problem that must be dealt with. That's the price of being the son of the king, as he so arrogantly throws around when it suits him. But here's the problem. Charles, actually, first what happened is Meghan weighed in. This was her Instagram story where she posted a whole succession of pictures of Prince Harry with the troops. We know exactly what she was getting at. Again, this was her way of taking down Donald Trump without actually having the balls to say it, because she's gutless. But of course, what the royal family should do in these cases is say nothing. Do not get involved. Say nothing. This isn't a battle for you. Keir Starmer was speaking to Trump, and sure enough, immediately after that conversation, Trump, having realized that this had been taken the wrong way and then beaten up and blasted by the mainstream media into space in a very over-the-top manner, he immediately railed back and said, no, of course the British troops are great. But unfortunately, Charles doesn't play that game. Just like we know he voiced his discontent to Boris Johnson about the Rwanda scheme, he was briefing to The Sun on Sunday that Trump had backed down after back-channel concerns were raised by the king. Now, for William, this is another diplomatic misstep. And if you look at a load of reporting from America, I think this shows where there are these new fractures that have developed. Not everyone wants to hear this, but it's just the truth, between Charles and William, not over how they deal with international relations and all of that type of thing, but about how they're going to deal with the Harry issue, which is William wants exile, William wants the title stripped. Charles seems to be giving into this idea that his mother had absolutely abandoned, that Harry and Meghan can live as some type of half-in, half-out royals. Now, here's some interesting reporting from Paula Frolic in the States, who said that after the statement was made, royal protocol collides with the Democratic Party's PR machine. She reported that this wasn't even written by Harry himself, but rather his new PR firm, or renewed PR firm, I should say, Sunshine Sachs, who have ties with the Democratic Party. Harry sent out an impassioned statement this week, and it was powerful, impactful, and my sources tell me not only deeply inappropriate, but also not physically penned by him. No way that statement was actually written by him, my royal source said. He approved it, but it smells of his PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, Morgan and Lyons. But as my source noted, this was clearly written by his PR people. That firm is knee-deep in the Democratic Party. Sunshine Sachs Morgan and Lyons is well known to have extensive, long-standing ties to the Democratic Party and frequently does work for democratic causes, politicians and organisations. And this is an issue, as once again, Harry is mucking about with politics, something royals do not do for good reason. Tom Sykes also says that Charles is backing Prince Harry's attack on Trump over NATO veterans in The Royalist, saying King Charles's decision to let it be known he backs Harry's position is a significant escalation of the conflict with William over how to deal with Harry. So let me turn to my superstar panel now, Based and Bougie and Steph, the alternate. Steph, I'm sorry, I actually think the Royal News Network is right on this. There is now no other solution than stripping Harry's titles, taking it all away, because he has proved once again that he cannot resist getting involved in the most sensitive diplomatic issues, which is highly ironic, by the way, given that he has chosen to live in Trump's America. If you hated it so much, do an Ellen DeGeneres and get your ass back on a plane. Although, please God, don't do that because we don't want him anywhere near here. But seriously, Steph, what is Charles then doing, sort of giving into this and almost acting as if Harry had done the right thing?
Where do I begin with all of that? So, this is the thing. There have been ample examples from Harry that his title should have been stripped ages ago. The one that springs to mind is more recently last year, he went over to Ukraine after visiting the UK. And there were reports that came through that he actually met up and visited Zelensky when the British government turned round to him allegedly and said, don't even go there. Don't go near Zelensky at all. And he did it anyway. He does things for the best of him rather than the best of this country and to serve this country. Not only that, but I think there's a bigger kind of situation at play that I don't think a lot of people have clocked here, which is Harry has put his own visa in jeopardy by speaking out against Trump on this, but Meghan has as well now. Because with Meghan turning round and putting up all those pictures on Instagram of Hazza, you know, serving in the military in Afghanistan, this, that, and the other, she's also attacking Trump as well. And bear in mind that even though this whole Hazza visa situation is a little bit on the quiet front at the moment, best be known, it's still going on at the moment. It's still going ahead. And the more that Harry and Meghan attack Trump, the more that they're just putting that final nail in Harry's visa's coffin. And he's going to be kicked out if he's not careful. And if we're not careful, we're going to be getting him back, whether we like it or not, unfortunately. The other thing I would also say is Hazard just needs to shut up when it comes to trying to go onto his high horse here. Because if you are to believe the rumours and the reports, there was an article where the Major General turned round and said that he slept through an attack on Captain Bastion. He slept through it. You've got other people apparently turning round and saying that he was protected. He was wrapped up in cotton wool. There was no way anyone was going to get near him. He just needs to sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I totally agree. He really does, but he cannot help himself, Based and Bougie, because the point is, right, there hadn't even been 24 hours to allow Trump to actually row back on these comments. I refused to join this sort of purity test that was being put out there. It was almost like, if you don't condemn Trump, then you're not a patriot. No. Everyone knows that I support British troops. But Trump was not actually speaking about British troops, as he made abundantly clear in his Truth Social post. But the one person who the world did not need to hear from on this is Prince Harry. And I think it does prove that he is actually now a danger to the British royal family. And I believe that William's strategy in terms of how he should be dealt with is the right one.
I'm starting to think that Meghan is like Harry's handler, just sent to Harry's life to destroy him and just make him make stupid decisions. Because first and foremost, you posting pictures of Harry in the army isn't convincing us nothing. We know very well that Harry was probably the most protected person in that army due to his title at the time. Second of all, how dare you criticize Trump while still continuing to live under Trump's administration? You can easily leave. And this is why I do not like Harry and Meghan, not because I don't like them personally, but I can so clearly see that they are just puppets. They're just puppets used to completely go against anything that has to do with Western culture or anything that has to do with patriotic culture, and they're just here to push this woke ideology. They did it during the BLM. They used the BLM rise as an opportunity for Meghan to start playing a victim, and now the new wave is like criticizing Trump and ICE and his administration. Now they're jumping on that wave, trying to get their followers and audience to go against Trump. I know, and I can see through it, and I can see that they are just puppets being used by the woke mob.
Yeah, totally. And look, the thing is, I would argue the whole Harry and Meghan project is falling apart, Steph. I mean, how on earth can we have Harry going from court last week where he was just a pathetic excuse of a man like, oh, the royal family made my life a misery. They forced me to perform in front of the media. It was just awful. To literally getting on a plane and going to the Sundance Film Festival where his wife made him perform on the red carpet in front of the cameras. Now, by the way, the whole thing was a complete disaster, Steph, as you know, because they couldn't even fill up the movie theatre. That's how unpopular they were. But if you just look at this footage of them on the red carpet, what you will see is that Harry is initially kept to the side of the room by Meghan Markle and is just allowed to watch on. And it's only when she gives him the go-ahead that he is actually allowed to come and join. And what's so embarrassing, Steph, is you'll actually see in a hot minute that he sort of sprints across because he's like a little puppy dog, and Meghan's told him, okay, now you're allowed this moment. I mean, could you believe this footage?
Yes, because we've seen it so many times
There he is.
before. Really, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, usually I'd give the benefit of the doubt because in showbiz, you know, when you are partnered up with someone, that usually happens, right? You've got the first person out in front taking their pictures solo, and then they'll get their partner in, and then you've got like a dual picture, right? So there is that kind of thing that happens on the red carpet. However, with Hazza and Megzi, yeah, they're a little bit different because we've seen this happen now many, many times before. The other thing as well that I think is more embarrassing than the fact that they couldn't even fill the seats is that the Sundance Festival, this festival primarily is set up so that filmmakers and indies and all that lot can come together, show their product, show their film for studios and whatnot to buy. And so here's the question. Why is a documentary executive produced by Hazza and Megzi all of a sudden being shown at Sundance for buyers? Isn't Harry and Meghan on a contract with Netflix so that they've got first refusal?
Exactly.
That means only one thing to me. Netflix have seen it and have refused outright to have it on their platform.
Oh, they have. You're absolutely correct. She has been working on this movie, she says, for 2 years. Well, that means Netflix didn't want it, and you actually had to wait till you'd left your exclusive deal before you're trying to sell it at Sundance. And that's absolutely right. Meghan was acting as if this were the Oscars. You know, she was sweeping in to win these awards. No. You're desperately trying to sell this project because no one wants it. There was an interesting moment based, I want to show you this on the red carpet, where you can just see how furious Meghan was with the interviewer because he dared bring up her daughter, Lily, and she immediately turned and passed it on to the director of the movie. But again, I find that really odd. It's like, you're the one that's putting your child on your Instagram account all the time. Why on earth can this person not ask a question about whether you want her to join the Girl Guides? Watch this.
Or she's maybe a little bit too young for Scouts at this point. Do you want Lilibet to be part of Girl Scout?
It's interesting. I think we'll continue to explore whatever feels right. But Alyssa's also a mom of a daughter.
So it was like very quickly moved on. And Nancy Sidley's take on this base was Meghan gets extremely uncomfortable, in my opinion, whenever asked about the kids. So she's proven the only time she will give information is when you're paying her to. She couldn't be more obvious. No information for free people. I mean, she was definitely snapping at that reporter there, wasn't she? She didn't want to be asked a question about her own daughter.
This is why I always call them whinge and ginge, because it's like nothing you're just whinging at nothing. If you don't want people to ask questions about your daughter, then just don't be soft launching your daughter on Instagram, getting people curious about her. It's that simple. There's so many celebrities out there who have been able to hide their children. Till this day, we know nothing about them, not even their names. But here she is showing the back of them, showing their hair, showing how tall they are. She wants the attention, and when the attention is given to her, she starts doing this whole let me just pass this on. And that's what I really just do not like about Harry and Meghan, is that they want the attention, and when they get the attention they're looking for, and it's not the attention that they actually wanted, which is positive attention, all of a sudden they try to like, oh, I don't know. I'm just tired of it.
No, 100%. And then there is this next car crash moment, and so it's inside the movie theatre, the Eccles Theatre. Now, she couldn't even sell it out. That's what I find most extraordinary. Like, loads of sort of shitty B-grade movies were sold out, but not Harry and Meghan. And she broke all film protocols. So at these film festivals, the idea is that the director is king, okay? And of course, all of these movie types are wankers, but the reality is they're the types of people that Harry and Meghan are trying to win over. And so the idea is that the director is king and the director always speaks first. But of course, because it's Meghan Markle, she had to hijack that. And she gets a special introduction to speak before the director, but does so as if she's just won an Oscar. So I was just sitting back like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, she keeps thanking everyone for what? Like, you're trying to sell this movie. Honestly, it's quite astonishing. And also, of course, it features the totally predictable and now unbearable, so I do apologize in advance, Meghan Markle word salad. Watch this.
Before we welcome our director, I want to invite a very special guest on stage. Can you please join me in welcoming Meghan, Duchess of Sussex?
Good morning, everybody.
She loves it, doesn't she?
Thank you guys so much for being here bright and early. I know some of you probably had late nights last night, so extra thanks for the effort. Nothing that a little cookies and coffee can't help. Look, my husband and I and R12 Productions, we are so proud and privileged to be able to support and uplift Cookie Queens. This film, yes, is probably the cutest at the festival, but I'm also going to go out on a limb and say it is one of the most powerful and meaningful depictions of something that is an American tradition and rooted in nostalgia, but is now put through this lens from the incredible creative vision of Alyssa to show something modernized about the girlhood experience and all the layers and complexity that come with that.
Couldn't
So yes,
just be
it's
cute.
And yes, these young ladies are fantastic and adorable, but they are also layered, beautiful girls who are about to become very strong leaders and young women. So thank you for supporting that. A huge thanks to our team at R12 Productions, Chanel, Wesley, Q, we love you guys, thank you so much for everything.
That's when,
Josh
sorry,
Vaughn,
I'm done with it, but
Maggie
that's
Sakane,
when
and then,
she
of course,
starts
the
sort of this
producer.
like Oscar speech. But Steph, isn't it so telling that this couldn't just be a cute little documentary? You know, that's not enough for her. It has to be some new feminist project.
Yeah, so couple of things from that. Firstly, Interesting how she starts listing the people that are working for her. As if she's turning around and saying, I've still got a team behind me, even though a buttload of people have left. I've still got people working for me. I'm not a dictator in high heels. Look at all these people that are still working for me, blah, 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 blah. Also, as well, her being on stage and that whole speech, it instantly gave me Blake Lively vibes. She's taken over this movie and she's trying to make it out as if it's her own.
Yes.
That she did the movie. That she directed it. It was all her idea.
And she had nothing to do with it, Steph.
No.
Like, it was made before she came on board.
Absolutely. She says that they've been involved for 2 years. Well, show me the receipts. Show me exactly what Harry and Meghan and Archewell Productions actually contributed to this film. Furthermore, something that Based and Bougie said earlier on rang true with me, but I wanted to take it one step further, which is this. Even if in an alternate universe, Meghan didn't put her children, Lily and Archie, on Instagram, this, that, and the other, the very fact that Megsy has executive produced a Girl Scout movie and is doing press for it instantly automatically means that when you're doing an interview, what's going to happen? The interviewer's going to be asking about your daughter and what your daughter thinks about the Girl Scouts, this, that, and the other. So what does she expect when she's on the press circuit for a Girl Scout movie? Of course her daughter's going to be asked about it. The other thing as well that I noticed during that particular moment that I mentioned yesterday on my own live stream is that when you pause it, when the reporter calls her Lilibet, she's not happy. Her eyes are glaring. It's as if looks can kill. Her eyes are glaring and her jaw is locked and she ain't smiling because the corners of her mouth are downturned. Reason why is because, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Megsy was unhappy at the title snub. It's as if Megsy was turning around and saying, it's not Lilibet, you know, it's Princess Lilibet.
Oh, Steph, you are so good at this. And of course, that is why you have to subscribe to the brilliant Steph the Alternate. She does the news, but she also does royals. She also does gossip. She's absolutely brilliant. Steph, thank you so much. And Based and Bougie, the legend that is. And Based is now on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, but also now on YouTube as well. So you can subscribe to Based and Bougie there. Love having you both on Outspoken. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Based and Steph. And of course, we are going to reveal today's Greatest Britain and Union Jackass in just one moment, so don't go anywhere. But first, to your feedback. So much coming through today. Lots about Crowborough, actually, though. Mr. The Courier says, need people sitting and blocking the streets and blocking the entrance to the Crowborough camp like they used to do in Greenham Common. Viper44XX says, still shocks me in disbelief what they are doing to this country. It's like living in a bad dream and you can't wake up. And Jenny Chilton on that far-right slur from that ponytailed asshole Matthew Wright says, we have to laugh at them when they use the far-right slur, make fun of them. And I think, yeah, you are right. There's a whole load that we can make fun of Matthew Wright about because he's one of the most unhinged men in the United Kingdom. Okay, a reminder of your nominees for today's Greatest Britain and Union Jackass. Steve Reed, nominated by Thomas W303 for his ludicrous defence of why Starmer didn't allow Andy Burnham to run in the by-election. Nadeem Zahawi, nominated by Thunk Thorpe, because obviously he is, well, according to Thunk Thorpe, one of the chin-dribbling architects of this country's demise, now stepping forward to tell us how bad it all is with Reform UK. And then Andy Burnham himself, nominated by Kaz Quinn, who says he's another really horrible socialist. Okay, let me get to these results. This will be interesting. And with 12% of the vote, Steve Reed. The runner-up with 33% of the vote, Andy Burnham. But today's Union Jackass with 55% of the vote. You're still angry about this defection, Nadeem Zahawi. And today's winner is a collective, all 21,000 of you. It's the Crowborough locals, nominated by Real Mick Cass for protesting peacefully and not giving the left ammunition.
Television fans of baking competitions have been greeted with a major announcement today, as celebrated chef and food writer Nigella Lawson has been confirmed as the newest judge on the Great British Bake Off. The move comes after long-serving judge Dame Prue Leith decided to step down from the series after nearly a decade in the famous baking tent, prompting both excitement and nostalgia among viewers and entertainment insiders. Lawson, known to many as one of Britain's most beloved culinary figures, expressed her delight at joining the show, describing the opportunity as both daunting and deeply thrilling. She said it was an immense honor to follow in the footsteps of Prue Leith and the program's original judge, Mary Berry, both of whom have long been regarded as defining voices in the baking world. The Great British Bake Off has become a cultural institution, celebrated for showcasing amateur bakers who strive to impress with creative bakes and complex technical challenges. Over the years, it has drawn a global audience thanks to its gentle tone, warm humor, and the rapport between judges and hosts. Nigella Lawson's addition is expected to bring a fresh wave of enthusiasm and charm to the tent, building on her reputation for warmth, wit, and deep knowledge of food. Dame Prue Leith, who has judged hundreds of baking challenges over her tenure, has openly supported Lawson's appointment, describing her as sassy, fun, and someone who truly understands both the science and soul of baking. Leith, who is stepping back to enjoy quieter pursuits and time in her garden, said she feels confident that Lawson will be a wonderful fit for the show's spirit and legacy. Lawson's career spans decades, beginning with her first cookery books in the final years of the 20th century and extending into a wide array of television series. She became a household name through programs that combined approachable recipes with engaging storytelling, and she has judged other culinary competitions both in Britain and internationally, including acclaimed roles on MasterChef Australia. Channel 4, which now broadcasts The Great British Bake Off, and the production company Love Productions welcomed Lawson warmly, praising her expertise, empathy, and humor as qualities that will enrich the program. They said they are looking forward to seeing how her presence uplifts and inspires both contestants and audiences alike. Lawson will join longtime judge Paul Hollywood, who has been a constant figure in the series and whose precise judging style contrasts with her more encouraging approach. Together with hosts Alison Hammond and Noel Fielding, the team will guide contestants through the variety of challenges that have become a hallmark of the show, from intricate pastry work to creative showstopper bakes. This casting announcement arrives at a moment when the series is seeking to maintain and grow its audience. Critics and fans have noted that in recent seasons, viewership has experienced fluctuations, and Lawson's addition is seen by many as both a nod to tradition and a bold step toward reinvigorating the program's appeal. Filming for the upcoming season of The Great British Bake Off is scheduled to begin in the spring, with the series expected to air later in the year. Producers and viewers alike are already anticipating the unique blend of culinary excitement, personality, and creativity that Lawson is likely to bring to the iconic baking tent.